Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Thanks for clicking on the video. I have some more Walking Dead content for you today. Obviously, the original series came to an end recently, like maybe last month. You know that I was keeping up to date with all the episodes as they came out, and I've been promising you guys more Walking Dead content. And I thought that now would be like the perfect time really to do a season tier list, right? It's the end of the year, you know, we're waiting for the Rick and Michonne show to come out. Why not make this video now, right? So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to run you guys through the tier table real quick. I don't intend on using E or F. We're just going to stick to S, A, B, C, and D. I didn't really think it was entirely necessary to use E and F. I think, you know, like I said, S through all the way to D is plenty. So let's make a start, shall we? Season 1, for me personally, is S tier Walking Dead content, right? First, I just want to make this statement now. Of course, we're not going to agree. This is just my personal opinion. These are the seasons that I enjoy most, okay? So of course, you know, we can't all agree. If you guys have any difference in opinion, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. But for now, this is my tier list, okay guys? I can already hear people screaming. For me, and why I love season 1 so much is that it's just so grounded, right? Like Rick's fresh out of a coma. We're not used to seeing these walkers. It seems as though the stakes are far higher and that like anyone can die at any moment. There's like a real fear of these walkers, and I think for me is why I love this season so much. I wish we had that fear of the walkers carry throughout the entire show, because that feeling we have when Morgan's wife is trying to open the door as a walker is unlike any other feeling we experience throughout the rest of the show entirely, in my opinion. Moving on to season 2, I feel like this is where it gets quite controversial for a lot of people. Season 2 in a lot of people's minds was like bottom tier Walking Dead for some reason. I really don't understand it. For me, it deserves to be an A tier. I love the season for a lot of the reasons I love season 1. It's grounded, right? It doesn't feel too comic booky yet. And the story arc of Shane and his relationship with Rick is something that I really enjoy also. Season 3 now, this was actually quite difficult for me because I really love season 3. The whole thing with the governor and Andrea, I love that whole storyline a lot. But I have to think about it in terms of season 1 and season 2. Is it on that same echelon? For me, it's not. So I had to put it in B tier. I would have loved for it to be an A tier, but I just think season 2 and season 1 for me are just a step above season 3. A special moment for me from season 3 that's worth mentioning is of course the reunion between Daryl and Merle. It's such a special moment, especially when you're watching it for the first time. Of course the circumstances are quite wild, right? The governor's got them fighting each other. But just to see those two on the screen again together, it's just such a great moment, especially like I said, when you're watching it for the first time. Season 4 now, right guys? And as you can see, I've got it in the B tier list right next to season 3. For me, I love this season similarly to how I love season 3, right? We're finishing up our time at the prison. We're finishing the governor's story arc. There's a lot to love about season 4. Of course, it's not up to the same standard in my opinion as season 1 and 2. That's why it's in the B tier list. But again, another great season. At this point, you know, the Walking Dead guys were really trying hard to maintain this level of quality. It doesn't start to dip, in my opinion, until like after season 6. Season 5 now, guys, right? For a lot of people, I think season 5 would be S tier Walking Dead content. We have everything post the prison, you know, all of our favorite characters are separated. They're on the road. The tension is so high. It feels as though, you know, the consequences are more dire. You know what I mean? Because our characters are so vulnerable out on the road. They're not behind walls like we've been used to seeing them up till now. And I mean, of course, everything with Terminus, Red Machete Rick, right? Some of the most brutal scenes you will see from The Walking Dead came from season 5. So that's why, in my opinion, it deserves to be in the A tier list. Not quite in the S tier for me, just because season 1 is just in a land of its own, in my opinion. I just love season 1 so much. But season 5, fantastic. It may be my second favorite season. Moving on to season 6 now, you can see I've got it in the A tier, which again I think could be controversial for a lot of people. I love this season for a lot of the same reasons I love season 5. It seems as though our characters are more vulnerable. Again, the consequences are so dire. We have everything with Negan also. I think with how strongly this season ends, right, with the ambush of Negan, solidifies its place in A tier. Now, season 7 for me was actually quite disappointing, given how excited we were post season 6, right? Season 7 had so much potential, but it seems as though after the first episode, all that potential just went out the window and it was just wasted, right? So many scenes that just didn't make sense. Moments where Rick could have blatantly killed some of these characters that needed killing, but for some reason the guy with masterful aim can't land a shot from like 10 meters away, right? There are so many moments like that in season 7 which kind of just take you out the moment, and for that, that's why it's in B tier. If not for the first episode of season 7, I feel as though it could quite easily be in C tier alongside season 8, as you can see now. Season 8, for me, is in C tier for a lot of the same reasons I had issues with season 7. Apart from the redeeming factors that season 7 had, season 8 lacked, right? The potential of season 8 was so high, the ceiling was just damn near unreachable. There was so much potential. The whole war with Negan could have been amazing, but they made some weird decisions throughout the season. One of them killing off Carl, I had a real big problem with, and so for these reasons is why season 8 is in C tier. Now this is where it gets controversial again in my opinion. I've got season 9 in C tier alongside season 8, and I know that a lot of people are going to have an issue with that, but for me, season 9 was just silly in a lot of ways, right? This is where The Walking Dead really started to branch out from what I loved about The Walking Dead originally, which was how grounded it was. Season 9 felt very much like a comic book. Of course, The Walking Dead is a comic book, but up until now it felt grounded. It felt as though it could be real. But everything with the Whisperer arc just felt unbelievable to me. Didn't really enjoy a lot of it, and for me that's why season 9 is in C tier. Now onto my least favourite season of all, season 10. Season 10 in my opinion was very forgettable. I'm not sure what was going on behind the scenes over at The Walking Dead. I'm not sure if there was like a change of writers. Quite often in The Walking Dead, like every other season or so, they have like a change of writers for some strange reason. I'm not sure if season 10 was during one of those periods, but for me, season 10 was just a miss. Honestly, there were maybe 2 episodes of the whole season I enjoyed. Obviously, the return of Maggie was a big deal, but that was towards the end of the season. You know, it didn't give it enough time to really redeem the season as a whole for me personally. Now onto the final season, season 11. You can see I've got it ranked at C tier. For me, this was such a hard decision because the later half of season 11, the final third, was for me fantastic. A lot of those episodes were really 10 out of 10. Although they were rushed, of course, I still really enjoyed, you know, like I said, the final third of season 11. But the entire first half of season 11 is not enjoyable in my opinion. I mean, the Reaper arc was dreadful, completely unnecessary. And I think actually if they just got rid of those episodes entirely, season 11 for me would have been somewhere amongst B tier, maybe even A tier, because of how much I enjoyed the final third. Of course, we know the final episodes in season 11 were rushed. They could have been flushed out more, but the pacing on which those episodes took place at is the kind of pacing we wish the whole of The Walking Dead had throughout the entire show. Something that people would often complain about in The Walking Dead is the pacing. That's actually why a lot of people disliked season 2 so much. They felt like the pacing was just far too slow, but they fixed that entirely in season 11, right towards the end. The pacing was ridiculous, and actually something we weren't used to seeing. So much so, in fact, that it actually felt like something different to The Walking Dead, and I said this in my reviews of the episodes at the time. You know, the pacing was just, it threw me off so much that it just felt like something different. For now though guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Walking Dead content. Obviously there's going to be a bunch of different opinions here on the tier list I've made. Just remember that these are the seasons that I enjoyed most, right? That's how I based this tiering system, so please do remember that. If you have any thoughts and opinions though, please leave a comment down below and I'd love to get back to you when I have the time. Thanks guys.